Okay, hashtag wear your face paint. I'm John Patmos at the new and the old rock and roll bands, lowercase, all lowercase, no spaces, at gmail.com. Email with all your questions about my John Patmos auditioning and talent show. All right, today I'm talking about Mr. David Lee Roth. David Lee Roth, born October 10th, 1954, is an American rock singer known for his wild and energetic stage persona. He was the lead vocalist of the hard rock band Van Halen for 3 stints from 1974 to 1985, during 1996, and from 2006 to when they disbanded in 2020. He also had a successful solo career, releasing numerous RIAA certified gold and platinum albums. What RIAA is, I don't know. After more than 2 decades apart, Roth rejoined Van Halen in 2006 for a North American tour that became the highest grossing in the band's history and one of the highest grossing of that year. In 2007, he was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame as a member of Van Halen. He's also known as Diamond Dave. Born, as I said, October 10th, 1954, age 69, Bloomington, Indiana. It's a little south of Indianapolis. Excuse me. His genres are hard rock, heavy metal, glam metal, and pop rock. Occupation, singer-songwriter. Discography, David Lee Roth discography. Years active, 1972 to present. Labels, Warner Brothers, Interscope, Magna Carta, and CMH. Now, I want to discuss this after I research it at a future time. Are these record labels like worth crap these days? Because there's no onslaught of bands that like they were in the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s that people were rushing to the record store to buy records, tapes, cassettes, CDs of these bands produced by these record labels. So I don't know what they do. They just like play Stinkfinger these days or something and just don't do anything because they've been put out of business by YouTube and the internet. No offense, YouTube, but you've done a bad thing. All right. So formerly he was of Van Halen in the David Lee Roth band. He put out some he covered California Girls and did a song called I'm Your Ice Cream Man. And website is davidleeroth.com. I'll have to check that out. His early life, he was born in Bloomington, Indiana, to an ophthalmologist, Nathan Lee Roth, and a teacher, Sybil Roth. He has 2 sisters, one of whom is Lisa Roth, creator of Rockabye Baby, Lullaby music series. The family is of Jewish heritage. Roth's uncle, Manny Roth, was the owner of Cafe War in New York City. All 4 of Roth's grandparents were immigrants from Russia, and his great-grandfather was a Lithuanian cavalryman. From an early age, Roth had an interest in art, especially film and radio. He said his first music idol was Al Jolson. So he's got that type of vaudeville stage frontman type quality, which Al Jolson was a vaudeville actor. Roth spent much of his youth in Newcastle, Indiana. In 2019 interview with Q95 Stuck and Gunner, quote unquote, he explained, "My grandparents moved from Newcastle in 1913. It's the sense of humor, the get it done and how we get it done approach, work ethic of Van Halen. Frankly, it's a Midwest approach, not some flaky Hollywood horse maneuver." The Roths also briefly lived in Swampscott, Massachusetts. In his teen years, the family relocated to Pasadena, California. Dave attended the Webb schools in Claremont, California, and the John Muir High School in Pasadena. Roth's parents arranged for him to receive treatment with a psychiatrist for 3 years because he was prone to daily bouts of hyperactivity dubbed monkey time. Roth also attended a horse ranch for troubled teens to build his sense of responsibility. While attending Pasadena City College, he met the Van Halen brothers Alex and Eddie. And during this period, Roth worked as a hospital orderly. I'm not going to get into much, but the first run was Van Halen from 1972 to 1985. In his late teens, Roth was singing solo as well as with the R&B influenced rock band named the Red Ball Jets. Roth says the name was in reference to the red dye used in food at the time, including the red candy balls, which would exacerbate his hyperactivity and lead to monkey hour at the family home, quote unquote, monkey hour. Red Ball Jets was also the name of a brand of sneakers popular from 51 to 1971. And another of Los Angeles bands, Mammoth, featuring Alex Van Halen on the drums and Eddie Van Halen singing and playing lead guitar, occasionally rented the Red Ball Jets PA system for $10 a night. After a couple of failed auditions, Roth joined Mammoth as lead singer. In 1974, Mammoth officially changed its name to Van Halen. According to Roth, this was his brainchild, and he felt that it was a moniker that offered long-term identity, aesthetic, and marketing advantages like Santana. So, performing original and cover songs, Van Halen eventually gained success in the Pasadena, West Hollywood, and Los Angeles areas, becoming a regular feature on the Sunset Strip clubs such as Gazzari's, Myron's, Whiskey A Go-Go, and the Starwood Club. In 1976, Gene Simmons took a note of the band, in particular Eddie Van Halen, whom Simmons hoped to recruit for his own band, Kiss, and assisted them in producing a 10-track demo tape featuring songs that would be included on their first 2 LPs and their 1984 album. The tape, however, did not attract much interest from the record labels. In early 1977, however, during their 4-month stint at the Starwood, Warner Brothers executive Mo Austin and producer Ted Templeman signed them to an inauspicious 2-album contract, one that heavily favored Warner Brothers, offering but a 0.70 cents per unit royalty, and manager Noel Monk, then equal partner of the band revenue, renegotiated this rate for double in 1979. Released in 1978, the debut album Van Halen was recorded at Sunset Sound Recorders and immediately earned the band significant national attention and radio airplay. They toured for 3 months at the bottom of the bill, supporting rising superstars Journey and Montrose, and then another 9 months opening for the heavy metal icons Black Sabbath. The album reached number 19 on Billboard 200 and eventually sold more than 12 million copies by 2014 certified diamond by the RIAA, Record Industry something association. Van Halen recorded 4 more platinum-selling albums over the next 5 years, within 12 to 14 days, and immediately returning to the road to tour. Roth is often credited with promoting Van Halen's image, described by David Frick in Rolling Stone as non-stop booze and babes party train. Yet, despite this wild man image, Roth was key to the band's success, not just as the high-kicking, tight-pantsied, Capezio-wearing singer and lyricist, but it was the de facto chairman of the board and band decisions of business, marketing, and publicity, according to Monk. Roth's sexy, macho, but poetic, often jovial lyrics worked in perfect harmony with the hard rock guitar sounds composed by Eddie Van Halen, a sound style that helped the band rise to the top of Billboard chart in 1984 with their album 1984, their first and only #1 LP. Looking back at Roth's tenure, Frick dubbed Halen as the monster rock action squad that ruled the charts and the airways for 7 years. I remember hearing about this new band, Van Halen, with David Lee Roth, recalled Aerosmith frontman Steven Tyler. Who does this fucking guy think he is? He's standing in my limelight. I'd fucked myself up royally. Despite the band's 7-year financial and artistic success, a creative rift developed between Roth and Eddie Van Halen early on. Roth was interested in popularity via original and even cover songs about partying, dancing, women, and sex, along with the lines of Aerosmith, AC/DC, or even disco, while Eddie wanted darker, deeper tunes in minor keys like those on their 4th LP, Fair Warning. They had artistic foils on the first 3 albums, but their 5th LP, Diver Down, saw a disgruntled Eddie sacrificing his original synthesizer and guitar riffs to find cover songs, 3 of which became singles: Dancing in the Street, Where Have All the Good Times Gone, and Oh Pretty Woman. In 1983, Eddie designed and constructed a state-of-the-art recording studio in his home with the band's recording engineer, Don Landy, and this led to creative conflict as it allowed Ed to dominate the recording process without much input from Roth. Furthermore, he began to experiment with the new wave direction with keyboards, synthesizers, and Roth preferred guitar-heavy hard rock. The 6th and final album, together with in 2006, 1984, was a critical commercial success and continued the band's move toward mainstream pop music. In early 1985, while a member of Van Halen, Roth released Crazy from the Heat, an eclectic solo of EP of offbeat pop standards. Some months before Roth's departure, Noel Monk, their manager of 7 years, was fired suddenly by the Van Halen brothers. He speculated that Roth was testing the waters for potential separate solo career. According to Monk, Roth formally parted ways with his Van Halen bandmates in August of 1985, although urban legend persists that it was April 1st, April Fool's Day, taking with him 60 Van Halen employees, including VH's head of security, Ed Anderson. In 1998, autobiography, Crazy from the Heat, a bit of Roth characterized Van Halen music just before his 1985 departure as morose.